Hey there, welcome to the Bernie Miklasz Show. I am Bernie Miklasz, and actually, it's the Bernie Show. You don't have to call it the Bernie Miklasz Show here on STL Sports Central. We are presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave your comments. First of all, a little preliminary note. No, I have not defected. I am not a Chicago Cubs fan, if you look at my hat. But as a baseball fan at large, Ryan Sandberg was one of my favorite players, okay? And I, like many baseball fans, was deeply saddened by his recent passing. And so I was ordering some hats from a place I've discovered that's fantastic, and I ordered a Rhino hat, and just as a tribute to him. So cut the boys some slack here, right? Anyway, I'm going to ask you to cut me a lot of slack today because I got a feeling you're going to like some of the stuff I have to say, or at least the stuff I'm presenting. But I'd rather be honest than be somebody who panders to score cheap popularity points. Been around way too long to worry about that stuff. Anyway, today's topic, Cardinals fans have gotten criticized by a national writer for the weak attendance at Busch Stadium this season. Here we go. And that ought to get your attention. And let me just add this too. I'm starting to see more and more of this from a national perspective. Usually it's just kind of quick comments here and there. Oh, you see those crowd sizes in St. Louis? Wow. What's happened there? I thought it was such a great baseball town. You know, little digs here and there. But earlier this week, CBS Sports.com baseball writer Matt Snyder, who I've always read a lot and also found him to be fair, he wrote a column about Cardinals fans and the lack of support for the team. And it really caught my attention because I wanted to see the way he would lay all this out. And even though I didn't agree with everything, I thought he did a really good job of laying it out. And I don't think he was steering out of his way to be nasty or to get a positive reactions from fans around baseball who hate Cardinals fans, right? I thought he played it straight up. So anyway, I'm going to read you some excerpts. But first, Snyder opened with a story of waiting in line at an amusement park where he overheard a loud conversation between Cardinals fans who were directly behind him. There were like two different groups of Cardinals fans, two different families of Cardinals fans. At one point, one of the fans asked why she sees so many empty seats at Cardinals games this season. Another fan, a younger fan, responded by saying, quote, "It's because the Cardinals haven't been good for a long time." And then the woman responded to that by saying, quote, "Then we can't say we're the best fans in baseball." And I'm like, whoa, okay, now here we go, right? My initial response to that, the remark about how the Cardinals haven't been good for a long time is incorrect. And it's part of the things that kind of irritates me. You hear some people carrying on as if the Cardinals haven't been good since 1982 or something. Okay. People just take it to the extreme. Sure. If the Cardinals miss the playoffs again this season, which is likely, that'll be 3 straight seasons without postseason baseball here in St. Louis, but that's happened before. See, that's the thing. It's happened before. Some of us act like this has never happened before and it's unacceptable. It has happened before. Tony La Russa's Cardinals didn't make the postseason for 3 straight years, from 1997 through 1999. Later on, this is when Matheny was the manager most of the time. The Cardinals failed to make the playoffs for 3 consecutive seasons, 2016 through 2018. And through one stretch, going back to the La Russa years, the Redbirds competed in the playoffs only one time in 4 seasons. So these laws are hardly unusual in baseball. And to be perfectly candid here, I have no idea why some Cardinals fans act like missing the playoffs 2 or 3 years in a row is some sort of famine that applies only to St. Louis and doesn't happen anywhere else. We've developed a little bit of a victim complex here, and I actually think it's kind of laughable. Not too long ago, after an extensive and amazing run of success, remember all those Bobby Cox teams? The Atlanta Braves stalled and made the playoffs 3 times over a 12-season stretch. Their usual home attendance went down some, but it wasn't drastic, and it's nothing like we've seen in St. Louis over the last 2 seasons at a time which the Cardinals have lost more fans at home than any team in the majors over the 2-year period. How about the Phillies? They failed to make the postseason for 10 consecutive seasons during a streak that finally ended in 2022. How about the mighty Dodgers? In a stretch that began in 1989, the Dodgers got to the playoffs only 3 times in 15 years, and that was soon followed by another stretch of 3 straight seasons of missing the postseason. Now, with the new ownership, the Dodgers get to the playoffs every year. But we're talking about historical perspective here, okay? Starting in 1989, the New York Mets made the playoffs only 3 times in 26 seasons. The mighty New York Yankees, with George Steinbrenner as the owner and spending big money. And some of you, once again, all together now, you think it's all about payroll. They did not make the playoffs. The Yankees were probably the wealthiest team in baseball, did not make the playoffs a single time from 1982 through 1993. The Cardinals are absolutely going through a downward phase, sure, and some of the frustration, as I've said a million times, is inevitable and justified. And I've been right there with you, like ripping some of the decisions that have been made or some of the action that hasn't been taken that kind of got this franchise where it is today, wondering when the fans are coming back and getting ready to start a rebuild. But this is nothing like the Pittsburgh Pirates. Listen, you may have friends or acquaintances or coworkers or whatever. I've heard this a lot. I've heard, even when I'm on KMOX and people are allowed to comment, or not allowed, they're welcome to comment when we're doing Gas House Gang or Redbird Rush Hour. And you see comments coming up like, well, the Cardinals are now the Pittsburgh Pirates. Is that right? The Pittsburgh Pirates. You mean the franchise that's played in only 3 postseasons over the last 31 years? Or the Kansas City Royals, despite their really good stretch there where they won 2 pennants of the World Series, 2014 through 2015. But the bottom line is the Royals have qualified for the postseason only 3 times in the past 38 seasons. So you let the Cardinals go through a downturn, haven't made the playoffs since 2022, and you got people out there saying they're the Pirates. See, when idiots say that stuff, I wish they would realize that they just completely destroy whatever credibility they had, or probably aren't making the best use of brain cells, the few that actually remain. Okay, I'm getting nasty. Calm down, big boy. Hey, the Baltimore Orioles were very special for a long time under a Hall of Fame manager, Earl Weaver, Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, all those people, Jim Palmer. But that era came to a close. You know why? Because every era comes to a close. And the Orioles, after that, made the postseason only 2 times in 27 seasons. Now, Cardinals fans have enjoyed a lot of great times and some great teams since Bill DeWitt Jr. and partners purchased the franchise in 1996, before the start of 96. And yeah, as I've mentioned, I'm going to keep saying it, the Cardinals have handled their inevitable downturn. They could have handled their inevitable downturn better than they have, but few fan bases in sports were able to enjoy a level of sustained success that has been savored by Cardinals fans. So when that type of era comes to a close, it is especially frustrating because you're used to a certain way of life of following your team. I get it. I've been a fan. I know what it's like. I grew up sitting in the stands watching the Baltimore Colts, right? Look at how that ended. Anyway, the Cardinals have lost too many games since the start of the 2023 season, but it hasn't. 2023 was a disaster, as we know. They're 71-91, but the Cardinals had a winning season last year. I think they're playing better than anybody expected this year, and I realize that's not the goal. The goal is to get to the playoffs and win the whole damn thing. But what I'm saying is, after the end of an era and with the mistakes have been made, I don't think this particular team the last couple of years could have done better or should have done better than it has. So yeah, the Cardinals have entered a down phase, and we all get that, and we don't have to like it. But with this losing, or the losing of almost like a dynastic era, right? Something else has been lost, in my opinion. You know what else has been lost? Perspective. Since 2008, the Cardinals and the Dodgers are the only team in the National League that have had only 1 losing season since 2008 through 2024. No other team in the National League had fewer than 5 losing seasons since 2008. 9 others had 8 or more losing seasons. And I think, look at my little page here. See, when I don't look at my notes, I make mistakes. Like in yesterday's video, I gave the wrong record for the Cardinals. I mean, I was right in that they were 2 games above 500, but I just gave the wrong number. See, I do that. I need to check my notes. Anyway, these National League teams have had double-digit losing seasons since 2008. The Reds 11, the Rockies 13, Marlins 15, Mets 11, Pittsburgh 13, Padres 12, and Phillies right there with 9, and Washington with 9. Cardinals have had 1, Dodgers have had 1. You know, and you say, well, the goal shouldn't be, Bernie, the goal shouldn't be winning seasons. We want to win World Series around here. Yeah, I get that. But first of all, you're not going to get into playoffs if you have a losing record. That's my point. Cardinals, for the most part, not always, when they come up short, they have been at least respectable as a competitor in what is a down season, right? Anyway, the last few seasons have been rough. And as I've said before, this has hardly been a hellscape of baseball. I mean, you know, I think Pirates fans would have probably traded the experiences, you know, going back to 1996. I'm pretty sure the Pirates fans would swap places with the Cardinals if you go back in a time machine. That's just me. Anyway, when I return for my second segment of today's Bernie Show, I'm going to share a lot more about what Matt Snyder wrote about the Cardinals and their fans. But before that, it is DraftKings time. If you haven't played DraftKings, Pick 6 Daily Fantasy, maybe 4. If you haven't done it, jump on in. Got a few weeks left in the baseball season, and then we're going to get ready. I'm going to rub my hands together because we'll get ready for the NFL college football seasons. And shortly after that, you got NHL and NBA. Man, you love the seasons that just keep going round and round and round. So it's a great time for you to jump into DraftKings Pick 6 Fantasy and get to know it and get to love it and get to win at it, right? If you're a new customer, DraftKings will even give you some bonus dollars to make picks when you sign up. More on that in a moment. DraftKings Pick 6 makes it simple to get started. So put your baseball smarts to good use and win some of that cash. Download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings, and it's really easy to start making your selections. Each day, DraftKings sets a stat line for dozens of major league hitters or pitchers for their next game. So just pick more or less above that stat line or below that stat line for 2 or more of your favorite players, and you're in the game, and you got a chance for success. Take your best swing. Pick 6 is available here in Missouri. There's nothing to limit you, hold you back. I really enjoy playing DraftKings Pick 6 Fantasy, and I think you're going to like it too. Don't settle for smaller payouts at other places. No way, you deserve better than that. So just switch to DraftKings Pick 6, and you will be at the right place at the right time for winning the cash. Right now, new customers can get $25 to use in bonus picks with their first deposit of only $5. So download that DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use the code STL Sports. That is important. Use the code STL Sports for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with a first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Okay, now here are some excerpts of what Matt Snyder wrote at CBSSports.com this week. I've shortened some of the comments so I can use more of them. I will read the comments, and if I have something to say after the comments, I will say, okay, let me jump in here. All right, it's just so we understand each other. Because when I'm reading someone else's comments, if I don't break the flow, it'll sound like his comments are my comments, so I'll try to separate them. Snyder wrote, and I quote, "Have you seen all the empty seats at Busch Stadium this season?" So, Snyder wrote, "I asked the obvious question, where are the best fans in baseball?" He said, I quote, "The easy and obvious answer, and a ton of Cardinals fans know this to be true, there is no one fan base better than any other in sports. Snyder continued, quote, pretty much every fan base is simply a cross-section of sports fandom at large. You have a large swath of very good fans. You have a good selection of total clowns. You have a group of casual fans who show up when the team is great, and they don't when the team isn't great. That's just how it is with every fan base. And I would agree with Matt Snyder. I thought he characterized that pretty well. I think there's a lot of front runners, like brazen front runners and bandwagon hoppers with every fan base. It's no different in St. Louis. That's just the nature of this deal. It's not an insult to say that because they're everywhere. All right, part 2 from Matt Snyder, and I quote, sure, some fan bases come off as more entitled than others because cheering for a more consistent winner does that to you, he wrote. And then he continued, Matt Snyder, quote, that's where the Cardinals I'm messing up. I'm trying to read too fast. He wrote, that's where the Cardinals' best fans in baseball thing came from in the first place, because from 2000 through 2022, the Cardinals made the playoffs 16 times and they had a losing record only one time, and they were 78 and 84, which is hardly terrible. Again, that was through 2022, so he wasn't covering 2023. Matt Snyder continued, it's very easy to pack the house every single night and have that ballpark rocking when your team is always winning. The funny thing is, Snyder wrote, the times aren't even that hard right now. The Cardinals went 83 and 79 last season, and as established, they're only 3 games out of a playoff spot right now. Note from Bernie, at the time he wrote it, they were 3 games out. Now it's 4. Snyder continued, and I think this is the end, the last thing I'm going to use, so I'll just read this net right now. Quote, I'm not saying Cardinals fan base is worse than that of any other team. It isn't. All I've ever said is that it's not special, and it isn't. It isn't special in a negative, positive way. It isn't special in a negative or positive way. It's just a fan base that got to root for an incredibly successful team for a long time, and it got spoiled, apparently to the point that being within striking range of a playoff spot on August 12th isn't very exciting for them. That's too bad, Snyder wrote. The best fans in baseball would be enjoying the chance to move into a playoff spot in a season where the bracket is wide open. Okay, I'm sorry for my bad reading there, but I'm just trying to get through this. That's the crux of what Matt Snyder wrote, and I'll share some of my own views as a follow-up to this when I return for my third and final segment on today's Bernie Show. But first, some words about Blue Chew. Gentlemen, Blue Chew's a big blue dose of power that'll help you raise your game for those intimate and exciting times with your partner. You can even add more excitement. Just take that assist from our friends at Blue Chew. No need to be bashful about this. Just chew it and do it. It's that easy. If your game is lame, then Blue Chew is there to help you. Instead of a dud, why not set off some fireworks with your significant other? Fellas, if you need a more powerful instrument to take into your favorite room in the house, Blue Chew is in the equipment room, so go get it. And you can hit home runs in the bedroom, or, actually, you can hit home runs in any room that you're in. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for enhanced performance. Blue Chew can help men of all ages, including dudes like me in their 60s, can help you. And I know that from my own experience. Blue Chew helped me, and I want to see Blue Chew help you. So reach out and order up. You will get your first month of Blue Chew free. You're just a few clicks away. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription at your doorstep in a matter of days. It's all done online, simple and private. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use the promo code Bernie. That's me, Bernie. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code Bernie to get your first month free, and the only cost to you is the $5 shipping fee. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Bernie Show. All right, appreciate you hanging in there. Got to pay the bills, as we say in radio and online radio and podcasting and everything else. Got to pay them bills. Anyway, on a personal note, as we continue with what Matt Snyder wrote at CBSSports.com, and just go online, CBSSports.com, and look for it. You'll find it. On a personal note, it was thrilling for me to write and talk about all those sensational Cardinals teams that made the postseason 17 times since 1996 and won 4 NL pennants and 2 World Series, and played in a lot of NLCS. And I also got a chance to cover some true legends, true icons, even immortals in this game. I'm talking about a chance on a daily basis to cover Cooperstown Hall of Famers and franchise Hall of Famers that wore the birds on the bat. I consider this to be the best part of my job during 40 plus years as a sports media person here in St. Louis. Now, Matt Snyder did make a good point. When a team wins as much as the Cardinals did, and you do all that winning over a very long period of time, then why wouldn't the ballpark be packed most of the time, man? The good times were rolling on and on and on and on and on. And some of the biggest stars of this era were there, part of your team, the home team. So everyone loves a winner, and it's easy to root for a winner, and that applies to every sports market there is. And it's easy to buy tickets to home games, be part of the fun, be part of a fun, fantastic, memorable experience. Yeah, that's the easy part and the great part of being a fan. And I do believe Cardinal fans, however, I would add to that, they do deserve a lot of credit for taking it to the next level. Yeah, any fan base would provide, as we said, genuine support for a winner. But St. Louis isn't in a major market. St. Louis doesn't have the massive revenue of most big market teams, or any big market team for that matter. But the Cardinals, at least the capability, the Cardinals fans have stepped up so many times, so many years to outdraw teams like the Yankees and the Mets, occasionally the Dodgers. And the Cardinals also ranked second to the Dodgers in major league attendance many times through the years. So that's impressive. Some markets, especially St. Louis, I believe during those good times supported a winner with a lot more passion than what we have seen in other markets that also had sustained success. I think Braves fans come to mind. And the ticket revenue provided by Cardinals fans through all these years also kept the winning going, because the Cardinals do set their payroll, whether people want to accept it or not. It is true. They set their payroll in large part because of revenue that's coming in through tickets and TV contracts and whatnot. But Cardinals fans kind of closed that financial gap with other franchises because of their generosity providing ticket revenue, other ballpark revenue. And that's more essential to a team like the Cardinals than it is to a large market franchise that have a massive revenue flow, mostly because of enormous local television rights, right? Until recently, Cardinals fans have been the equalizer in making it possible for their team to go toe-to-toe with franchises that have a big advantage in revenue. A team like the Cubs, for example, a team like the Dodgers, a team like the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies. I could name some others. We're talking National League teams. The Cardinals made it to the NLCS in 1996. That was Tony La Russa's first season. And after 3 straight years of no postseasons, the Cardinals entered an extraordinary phase in 2000. I'm going to take you through it quickly. From 2000 through 2022, the Cardinals made the playoffs 16 times, won 2 World Series, 4 pennants, competed in 10 National League Championship Series. The 16 postseasons during from 20 to 2022 were the most by a National League team over those years. From 2000 through 2022, only the Yankees and Dodgers won more regular season games than the Cardinals. From 2000 through 22, the Cardinals competed in more postseason games and won more postseason games than any team in the National League, and they ranked second overall in both of those things to the Yankees. From 2000 through 2022, the only teams with more regular season wins at home were the Yankees and the Dodgers, and the only teams that had more postseason games at home from 20 through 22 were the Yankees and Dodgers. From 2000 through, let me do that again. I'm sorry. From 2000 through 2022, the only teams with more regular season wins at home were the Yankees and Dodgers. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. From 2000 through 2022, only the Yankees hosted more postseason home games than the Cardinals, or won more postseason home games than the Cardinals. I'd say that's pretty good. See, with the fans' help, the Cardinals could stand with the much larger entities and the financial powerhouses and trade punches and actually score a lot of knockouts. But the end of an era can be very tough to deal with emotionally and otherwise. And it's made worse when a team makes too many mistakes, and the Cardinals sure have made mistakes in their draft and player development model, the technology, their roster construction, their payroll spending, their communications with the fan base, stuff like that. But if we're comparing, let's be honest here now, if we're comparing the good times and the bad times, how many were good times? How many were bad times? Since 1996, when DeWitt took over, or 2000, when the Cardinals entered this incredible phase, it's not even close. The comparison's not even close. In fact, it ain't even worthy of any kind of discussion, because even with the frustration that's damaged the Cardinals' relationship with their fans, the fans still come out way, way, way ahead when we compare good times, bad times. Good times, I'd say way up here, bad times way down there. Come on now, you know it's true. And it wasn't just about all of that winning or the celebrations and the parades and the expectations and looking forward to the next year. You couldn't wait to get back out there. It was also about stars, all kinds of stars. From 96 through 2022, the Cardinals had rosters that included an abundant presence of Hall of Fame talent, either Cooperstown Hall of Fame talent or Cardinals Hall of Fame talent. And some of the guys I'm going to mention aren't in the hall, either one of the halls yet, but some of them will be in one or the other, I'm pretty sure, when I go through the names. So when I read the names, I said that because I didn't want you to think, well, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Yeah, I know, but he will be. I think we can agree Albert Pujols will be in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, here are the names of what I'm talking about. Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, Jim Edmonds, Scott Rowland, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter, Matt Holliday, Matt Morris, Mark McGwire, Willie McGee, and Ozzie Smith, who was part of that 1996 Cardinals team. 1996, La Russa's first year. All right, here's more of the roll call. Tony La Russa, Edgar Renneria, Jason Isringhausen, Ray Langford, Larry Walker, Dennis Eckersley, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Carlos Beltran, David Freese. I think even Fernando Valenzuela stopped by for a while, right? That's a remarkable collection of talent. And I probably missed some people. And, oh, by the way, the fans voted David Freese into the Hall of Fame. He hasn't accepted it yet. I consider him to be part of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. That induction will happen one day. Anyway, this is a remarkable collection of talent that combined to lead this franchise for all those regular season wins, all those postseason wins, all those home games in the postseason, all the pennants, the World Series, all-star selections, piles of gold gloves, stacks of Silver Slugger awards, had a Cy Young winner, a 3-time MVP, and maybe the best defensive catcher of all time. I think he is. Other people would say Pudge Rodriguez. I'll take Yadier Molina. Yadier Molina played, I don't want to get into this anyway. I'm a Molina guy. Anyway, good luck to any franchise that tries to have this cast of just one after another, this long, long line of superstars and legend that kept the franchise winning at such a high level for 25 years or so. Basically, any franchise who comes out of an era like that and you're looking to do it again, or you're looking to sustain it and maintain it at the high level, even though all those guys are gone, it ain't going to happen. But it did happen here. It happened here for a long time, and it was truly spectacular. But it doesn't mean it's going to be easy to keep it going. And the Cardinals haven't kept it going, which, again, is not exactly a new thing that doesn't happen elsewhere. It happens just about everywhere. When an era of such supreme magnitude comes to a close, anything that follows will be excruciating or at least difficult to deal with. Ask the New England Patriots about that, or the Montreal Canadiens, or the Chicago Bulls, or the New York Islanders, or the Washington Redskins / Commanders. I can name others, but you get the point. After so much winning, it's just a challenge to maintain unwavering support when a team stalls out and rolls into mediocrity, and a team like the Cardinals who really don't have any stars. We kind of make up our stars. What do I mean by that? Well, the Cardinals have some good players, but we turn them into, in our desire to have stars, we turn them into, in our minds, into something that they are not. And as I've hollered and written many times, and I'm going to continue to do it, yeah, Bill DeWitt and his baseball people have screwed some things up here that made the situation worse than it need be. But I also believe that Bill DeWitt, with the help of Chaim Bloom and what has been a very aggressive makeover of the minor league and player development system this year, I believe those guys deserve a chance to make it right. Here's the thing that worries me, though. This will likely get worse before it gets better, because I'm here to tell you, and look, I'm just going to play it straight with you based on what I know after having some conversations with people who do know. The payroll will not be going up. The rebuilding is going to be a slow process rather than a rush job. The Cardinals, if they're smart, they're not going to mislead you and promise stuff that they can't live up to. This is going to be a rebuild, and it's going to take some time. And oh, by the way, a rebuild, once again, is not a teardown. They're not ripping the entire thing apart, but they are rebuilding. So how will Cardinals fans deal with that? I'm not sure. Unfortunately, Matt Snyder isn't alone in his perception of Cardinals fans. There's going to be a lot of other opinions expressed nationally along these lines. It's happening already. And I got to think the Cardinals will finish in the bottom 10 of home attendance this year. There'll be a lot of talk then. See, this can become the best baseball town in America again, but it isn't right now. And if you want to be insulted by that, it's okay to get mad at me. I wouldn't say it unless I really meant it. As a team, the Cardinals got to rebuild, and hopefully the fan base, in a manner of speaking, will rebuild along with them. You can't wear the crown of the best baseball town in America when you rank 19th among 30 teams, including the Rockies, in home attendance, and you basically stay away from the ballpark as soon as one of the greatest eras in franchise history comes to a close. Look, bottom line, it's up to the Cardinals to win their fans back. That's on them. But loving a team does not mean you should only love it during the happiest of times, because any fan base can do that. And I really do believe this losing or this downtime has been kind of a shock to the system. And I do believe Cardinals fans aren't that kind of fan base that is going to cut and run as soon as something great goes a little sour. I just think this has been kind of a shock, and it's hard to deal with. And I think Cardinals fans will come back, and I think they will give Chaim Bloom a chance. And if they don't, then I got to wonder about how great of a baseball town it really is. Again, hate me if you want. I'm just speaking from the heart here. That's all for today, and I thank you for your watching and all the time you watch. I appreciate it. You get such good numbers here. I am flattered and humbled every time. I'll be back tomorrow with another Bernie Show video presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Have a great day.